I agree to an extent with the statement that you should restrict kids younger than 16 from having social media. Maybe not 16 exactly, because I don't know, 16 seems a little too old.
It
but
seems kind of extreme.
It does seem extreme. And like, when you think about the age 16, like people are driving cars by that time. So maybe younger, but like social media can lead to a lot of social anxiety and like fear of missing out and social isolation and like feelings of jealousy, which could lead to further mental health issues and concerns. And I feel like if you're exposing younger kids to that, it may not be as prevalent immediately, but it could be more severe, more intense later in life when they've had that much time to like be exposed to it.
Yeah, kind of piggyback off of you, I also said that social media kind of sets a standard for how you should be living life because people constantly compare themselves to others. And I really don't think this is good for children because they're in such kind of a vulnerable state because they're constantly seeking out like validation, need to be wanted from their friends and peers. And like you said, it could maybe potentially turn into something disastrous down the road with like mental health issues, which is very prevalent now. And not only that, but children are at an increased rate of like ADHD and ADD, and that can deal with like instant gratification of like posting a picture on Instagram or Facebook and wanting to get likes, comments, and feedback from their friends and stuff.
I think when you're talking about children too, it's also important to think about what they see on social media and how it's portrayed. So I think a lot of kids these days see a lot of drinking and smoking and kids with jewels all the time. And I think it teaches them that not only are those things acceptable, but it's also a lot of fun. And I think when you have kids that are 10, 11, 12 years old and they're seeing all these things, they might start trying to replicate those behaviors. Well, those behaviors aren't always bad. If you're that young, if you start drinking when you're 12 years old, you're gonna have some serious problems.
For sure.
I agree that they see like bad behaviors that can be misleading on social media, but they can also see misleading images on like body images and popularity. Young kids who are still trying to like develop who they are as a person are seeing edited pictures that have different appearances, and they think that they should look the same, and that can cause like mental health issues and low self-esteem.
It's just kind of kids think that's real life type of thing. Like people obviously they put their best self out there. Like no one posts like, oh, like I'm having like not a good time or whatever, because that's not acceptable per se. And I feel like kids, they feel like they have to constantly give up that, kind of like you said, they think that's the real way how to portray like their body image and stuff like that. And then they're just gonna like get a downward spiral. I think Ilsa mentioned like fear of missing out, like that kind of thing. Like people constantly checking up to see what everyone else is doing, and really they're just putting only the good parts up there.
Yeah, and like if you're constantly keeping up with what your friends are doing and like comparing yourself, like like what are you doing right now compared to what your friend has posted on their story, like what they're currently doing, like you start to feel like, oh, like I wasn't invited to that, or like I don't have that many friends, or like my friends and I don't do this, so like we must not be as cool because this person has all these followers or like all these friends supposedly that they're posting pictures of. So
I think too, I think you're talking about like portraying the like kids' best life. I think when kids have this belief that they have to look so good for social media and all their followers and everybody who looks at it, they kind of start to when they're having an experience, all they're doing is trying to broadcast that and make themselves look better, when in reality they're missing out on part of the experience because they're so concentrated on making it look amazing.
Yeah, like I went to a concert last night, super fun time. Almost everybody had their phone up and was recording like the whole thing.
Don't get me started on that.
I was like, guys, really, you're literally here to like have a fun time. And some person like dropped theirs. I was like, oh my god, like I dropped it. It was like,
and then to piggyback off that, I don't think we really talked about this, but when I work with kids, I did the past few summers, and then in their free time, they're just constantly on their phone playing games or on social media, and I think that's just kind of preventing like forging good relationships and experiences that we had when we were younger. and it's just crazy because they're like always on their phone, and yeah, I just think that's preventing like experiences that could be big.
Yeah, I agree. When I was younger, like I didn't have a phone until I was like 15 or whatever.
Like the Nokia brick phone, but I didn't have it.
I mean, yeah, me too. But like, you know, me and my friends are always outside, always doing something.
Oh,
You know,
for sure.
every second we could.
And like kids our age, we definitely have better like social skills because of this reason. Like we grew up where we had to like talk to other people or be in uncomfortable situations rather than just like kind of like getting out of them and just being on your phone.
But even so, I feel like some of us like just barely made it to that. Cause like looking at some people my age, like
how are they gonna have like social skills or like people skills? Like or even in an interview, like I had to interview people for like my old job. I helped interview people, and some people just like couldn't look me in the eye like at all, and they were only like a couple years younger than me. And I was thinking, this isn't good. Like this is just like a minimum wage, like basic job. Like
Definitely. I have to interview people here too, and I feel bad when they can't like vocalize that. I catch myself like finishing their sentences for them, and it's like I did that quite a bit. Like people were pretty bad at like interviewing, and I don't know if that's just like a new kind of thing, but that's very true. That's very true.